Dylan, my man, welcome to the show. How we doing tonight?
Good. How about you guys?
Man, we are blessed, man. When we have a national champion on the show, we don't take it for granted. But I gotta ask you a question right off the top. I'm an Ole Miss season ticket holder, so I'm aware of a lot of the jokes that go on within the team. And so now that you're the most outstanding player, are you still referred to as Burford's roommate?
Yeah, I think we're keeping it going. What we've been doing it seemed to be working, so I think we should just keep it going.
Guys, you believe that? I mean, he is the most outstanding player, and he's somebody else's roommate is his title. I just we got to get that changed. I think he needs to be Dylan's roommate at this point. But before I let Mike jump into your beginnings, man, I was in Omaha for just the first opening weekend, and man, a cool moment. I was standing there talking to Dunhurst as he's been a guest of this show, and y'all were being called into the dugout, and there was a lady and her two kids right next to me, and you were running by doing as you were told, and they were calling out to you, and like it was like it just hit you, and you just stopped and you turned and you ran over to them real quick and got it done. And it made those kids and that mom's day that you came over there and did that. And so, man, shout out to you for that. And what I want to ask is that something that you picked up through the Ole Miss culture, or is that something because you were that kid once that you feel like you want to do for those kids?
I was that kid once. Everybody has that person they looked up to. Everybody has that team they look up to. Just to see those kids' face, to put a smile on them, and just to know that they're being noticed by guys that are basically in the SEC, top of the food chain for baseball. It's really cool, definitely, just to give back. I mean, we have such an awesome fan base that you just want to do that. You want them to keep coming. You want them to be happy. You want to give them everything because they show up. We wouldn't be the same team if it wasn't for them.
And Dylan, you talk about, the fan base and everything that goes in through that. And obviously, especially in college baseball, not a lot of people get to hear these stories because kids are coming in and out, kids are going through the transfer portal. For you and for the state fans that don't know your full story, can you kind of tell us a little bit about where you're from and how you grew up?
Yeah, I grew up in Daytona Beach, Florida. Just like fishing, stuff like that, going to the beach. High school kind of hit. I played football when I was younger, quit when I was 11. My dad was a coach, and I walked off the field, just quit. And he had to stay there. I had to stay there the rest of the game in the stands the whole time until he was done because he couldn't leave. But just growing up, I just wanted to play baseball my whole life. Didn't get the SEC offer out of high school. I went JUCO. Committed to a D1 my senior year, committed to College of Charleston. I didn't pan out for me. I didn't really like it. Didn't like the baseball. Loved the school. Just didn't like the baseball there. Decided to go JUCO, and it changed my life really. I thought God, it was my plan that God gave me, that He was telling me to leave, to go JUCO, to improve and be a better person, be a better teammate, and hopefully get to the bigger stage. And luckily, it's panned out so far, that decision. So when I decided to go JUCO, I was like, damn, I'm at the bottom of the list again. And JUCO is not really like that when you're in the Panhandle Conference. I mean, like I said, they refer to the SEC of JUCO, like it's the best conference in JUCO. So when I was playing there my freshman year, got to start 6 times, did very well. Then COVID hit, then went down for a downfall. That was a struggle and everything like that, trying to get back into baseball because, everything was shut down so much. So you couldn't really do anything. Then the next year they opened it back up for baseball and everybody was excited. We got to play a full season. Ended up doing very well. I had like 30 something offers from mid majors and stuff. But I wanted to play SEC. So I kept on holding back. And then middle of the season Laugh calls me. And he's like, "Hey, Dylan, we want you to become a Rebel." I was like, my dreams to play baseball. So I'm in the SEC. So I said, I'm in. Let's do this thing. And that everything kind of been history from there.
100%. And all of that was beautiful. But Dylan, I gotta ask you, very early on in that amazing intro we just had, you said you quit football. And I know you as a very competitive person, and I got to watch a lot of that. As a Tennessee fan, we didn't get to face like that the way I wanted it. But I know you're very competitive at heart, and having 4 brothers, growing up in a house like that, I'm assuming you weren't quitting everything. So what
No.
was that like, having 4 brothers, and how did that help you in your competitive drive into the baseball player you are today?
See, I just wanted to be better than all of them. That was my goal. Just be better than every single one of them. So I try to work harder than them. I would do everything, listen to them. We would go back and forth all the time on different stuff. Like my brother Jordan played D1 baseball at Bethune-Cookman. So me in high school, I would always go to his games, watch him pitch. And I got to see all these other players pitch. And I would just try to, see what fits for me. Luckily, I had an amazing pitching coach in high school, and we haven't changed anything since in my mechanics. When I was at Ole Miss, we haven't changed anything. But, being competitive versus them, it made me competitive. It made me want to fight. It made me, when tough times were on the mound, it made me get that next pitch and get it out, get off that field.
See, Dylan, that was a very Disney Channel type answer. You see, I want to know who the best athlete in the family was. I want to know who you were giving it to week in and weekend out. I want to know, Dylan, is it you?
I guess you could say I'm the best athlete in.
Hey, this is a safe space, Dylan.
Wait, are we saying baseball or athlete?
Athlete at every.
Oh hell no, it ain't me. That's not me. Come on now. Have you seen me run that 2 mile that they do that?
No, we watch you pitch, man. We don't watch you do the 2 mile.
Yeah, well, that 2 mile took me 6 tries, so we're not getting on that.
Well, I heard you're still ahead of Leatherwood, so you're all right.
No, I did beat Leatherwood. No, I didn't come in last, so that was the good part. But no, I would say my little brother's the best athlete. All around, he can kind of just do it all.
Right, 100%. And for you, favorite athlete growing up, there's a lot impacting in that, because there's just so many different options. So outside of just baseball, and you can give a baseball answer as well, but your favorite athlete growing up, who inspired you and kind of base your game off of?
Inspired, I would say, my head coach at New Smyrna. He played 10 years in the pros for the Texas Rangers. He was multiple around, but he spent most of his time as a Texas Ranger. He was a big impact to me. Me and him threw the exact same way. He taught me how to pitch. I didn't pitch until high school. I was 14 when I started pitching, something like that. I threw a couple times when I was younger, but like nothing serious. I was always a catcher. So when he got his hands on me, he started teaching me everything. I also have another coach, Coach Norm. He taught me everything too before Coach Nick got to me. And, just seeing all that, seeing all these people help me, it was amazing. But I would say I would look up to, there's a couple answers to that. It is. I never had that favorite baseball player growing up. You could say I'm a huge Red Sox fan, so David Ortiz would be one. But I would say, just people I've looked up to would definitely be, my coaches for sure.
100%. And just so you know, Dylan, we got a couple Cardinals fans in here, so just tread the waters carefully. All right, it is not a safe space. This is not a safe space at all.
Never. You see that? You see it's right there,
dude. We're okay with that. He's a Cubs fan. We're still not the losers on this podcast.
Hey, listen. All I know is we just took 2 out of 3 from Boston, but that's neither here nor there. Dylan,
we're getting off topic. We're getting off topic.
Hey, just a little bit. But Dylan, you talk a little bit about high school, and I have been trying to learn how to pronounce this name all evening. Can you first of all give us the name of your high school, and then kind of talk about what went into that with you pitching? You kind of talked about it a little bit a few minutes ago, but what was that transition like? Was that something you wanted to do, or was that something more of your coaching wanting you to do that?
So I went to Mainland High School my freshman and sophomore year, and then I transferred to New Smyrna Beach High School my junior and senior year to be with my pitching coach. My freshman year, my brother played football, and Mainland High School is like the number 6 school in the country for football.
Right.
They're really good. So I needed to ride to school every day. So of course I didn't get a choice. I had to ride with him every day. I had to go to Mainland. Not like I wanted to, but I had to. So,
that's what happens when you're not the best athlete in the family, Dylan.
No, I absolutely, he has nothing on me. But I would say, transitioning into it, my knees kind of got bad as a catcher. Didn't really have all the movement. Like I couldn't probably catch 4 innings right now. in my life. Like, I pray to Dunhurst right now because holy cow, he had a workload on him this year. But transition to the pitcher, we thought it would be best for me because how well I commanded and everything. So we were like, okay, why not? Why not just let it go? So we started doing that, started learning how to pitch. And luckily I got to learn at such a mature age that I understood everything, not when I was a little kid and I create these bad philosophies, bad problems that it takes forever to fix. So when I was learning it and everything, I started liking it. And then just having that pleasure of striking out batters was so cool. And I loved it. So that's why every time I go out there, I want to strike out every dude. Doesn't matter how many pitches I throw. I just want to strike out every dude. It doesn't happen, but I wish I can.
100%. And when you look at everybody that's transitioned from that school, do you look at any notable alumni, or would you like to say that you are the staple center of that school as one of the best athletes to walk through those doors?
I guess you could say that. I actually went there today to do a talk with the high school football team. So I was talking to them and I was just explaining my story through high school. There is no story. Like, I was a shithead in high school, missed class, didn't get the best grades, but like I was immature. That was my thing.
Tell him, Dylan.
Yep. And I told him my whole story. I said, listen, guys, like, no pro guys, no college guys want guys that miss class that have a 2.5 GPA that can barely get in. Doesn't matter how good you are. You're going to end up at JUCO. You're going to end up at a mid-major when you could be at a SEC, or you're going to end up undrafted because you're a shithead.
Right.
So like, that was the biggest part I was trying to explain to them. And, I was telling them, I was like, if you guys don't like your position, like, I could tell you my position was a reliever at the beginning of the year. Like, it sucked. But I still enjoy the ride. Coach B had one of those philosophies. It says on the back of every one of our game shirts that the MVP of the game that gets it says enjoy the ride with the Omaha bus on the front. And I wear that shirt a lot because I have like 20 of them now, but that's besides the fact.
Humble brag.
But besides the fact, it's one of those things is like, you are enjoying the ride. The ride's never going to be a smooth ride. It's always going to be bumpy. There's going to be ups and downs, and it's up for you guys to fight through it. It could be you or it could be as a team. And you just have to fight through those tough times and get on top of that hill at the end of the day.
See, I need Dylan here. Forget the show completely. I need Dylan in the group chat because
that's your life coach, bro.
Jim Cross was coming at me for the same exact things this morning. But hey, that's a whole different conversation. But Jim, I just want you to replay this tape later back tonight. People can change. Just remember that, Jim.
This is back-to-back nights with back-to-back guests who are really just dropping some wisdom. Dylan and Jack I'm going to just use these two episodes for all the kids to learn from.
We're getting off topic, but Mike, so you've changed. Where were you last night?
First of all,
moving on to back to Dylan.
Family show.
First of all, listen.
Where were you supposed to be, Mike?
Where was I supposed to be, or where was I, sir? Anyways,
were you supposed? Anyway, Dylan, back to you.
Jim never even told me about this episode last night. But anyways, back to Dylan, because everyone's here to listen about Dylan's story, not my incriminating story. But you were ranked as the number 70th overall player in the state of Florida, 21st among right-handed pitchers by perfect game. For you, you garnered first team All-State honors in 2019, tabbed the 2016-17 Max Preps Player of the Year, a 3-time All-Area selection, and you posted a 33-9 record, career record, with 329 strikeouts and 251 innings. And that's some pretty serious stuff. Personally myself, I was one of those lame pitchers, so I couldn't get down like that. But for you, those are a lot of accolades, and for such a young mind, for what goes into that? What goes into that for you, just having that idea of knowing you are who you are?
My freshman year, I started off in the bullpen for the first game, and then I became the starter. Mm-hmm. So after another start, I became the ace as my freshman. Granted, our team wasn't that good, but I still enjoyed every moment we had with them. They would even tell we weren't that good, but we played hard.
Right.
So that was a good part. We didn't have all the talent, but we played hard, and We enjoyed every moment together. But when I was going through it, that freshman year I was starting, I was trying to figure out ways, didn't go as hard. Wasn't going as many innings. I was going like 4 innings, 5 innings here, stuff like that. So I was trying to figure out, how can I pitch these whole games? I want to throw 7 innings. That's what I want to do. I don't care. I just want to throw a 7-inning complete game. And, we play in our rival school. Of course, it's our rivals. We're playing Seabreeze. And everything kind of clicked in my mind. You just gotta fill up the zone. That's all you gotta do. It doesn't matter how hard you throw. Just stop trying to blow it by people. Pitch to what your strengths are. And my strength is throwing 3 pitches for strikes in any part of the count. And so I was sitting there, it kind of clicked that game. Threw my first ever 7-inning game and it was my freshman year versus the rival school we haven't beaten in like 3 years. And I threw it, and we ended up winning, I think 2-1 or 1-0, something like that. I totally forgot. But that was a big highlight, and everything started clicking after that. Next year I came back, still stayed with it. Velo started jumping up a little, but I was still staying with it and just saying I could throw 3 pitches for strikes and that will get me by.
You said velo was jumping up. Your freshman year when you started pitching, what was your velo topping out at?
Freshman year, I was like 82 to 85. I still threw it hard. Threw it hard.
But I'll tell you, Dylan, you said something that is so integral. So I went to, and I can bring this up on an Ole Miss episode because it's your teammate. I went to the best high school duel I've ever seen. It was Hunter Elliott against Brady Tigert last year. And you had number 1 and number 2 pitcher in the state for Mississippi. And the reason I bring it up was because Hunter just kept it in the zone. He was only throwing a steady 90 to 92, wasn't trying to overly power by because most of these kids, they're not touching 91, 92. I mean, let's be honest. Yeah. Meanwhile, Tigert was getting up to 98, but he kept getting himself into full counts. He was all over the place. Whereas Hunter just kept it simple. I'm going to pound the zone. And he was more successful for that. And so what you just said, sometimes these guys that get so caught up with the velo and trying to throw as hard as they can, that, man, sometimes you just got to make sure that you're throwing strikes.
100%. Like, proving, that's what I love to do. I love to prove people wrong. Everybody thinks, oh, this kid's no good. Look at his height. Look at his body. Stuff like that. I've worked hard on my body trying to figure it out, trying to, lose body fat, but keep the same weight because that's how I have to be. That's how I have to pitch. That's how my body has to be. Because if I get skinny, I'm gonna tear every ligament in my arm. That's just plain and simple how it is. So I'm a bigger kid.
You'll tear your UCL, sir. Is something I know Dylan might not get that, but I got a little biology lesson the other week on the show. But Dylan, for you, out of all of those seasons, what was really the most memorable one for you, whether it be in high school or not? Which one stood out the most?
In high school or overall?
I would say both, because I'm pretty sure I know overall which one you're gonna say.
High school, I would say my senior year definitely was a good season. I mean, I was first team. I'm trying to think about it. I knew I was first team all area. I was selected for the Gatorade game and the All-Star game. So that was like a cool highlight for me, getting to go to those games. And I would say, that year would just top it off. I think I had like a 0.6 ERA, something like that. Something I forgot, but it was under a 1, well under a 1. And, that moment, all my 4 seasons, I think my freshman year I had like a 1.1 ERA in like 50 innings. My sophomore year, I had under a 1. It was like a 0.98, and I kept on going down from there. Then I got to a 0.8 my junior year in like 60 something innings. So I was just like, when I had a high ERA this year, I was flipping out. I was like, this is shit. I was like, I had under a 1. This is bullshit. But no, this year, that senior year for sure was my highlight because I learned so much, and all the pressure was off me because I was going to college. I didn't really have to think. I didn't have to fight for a scholarship. I was just pitching now. I was getting to be me. I didn't have to show my velo. I just went out there and did me.
Right. And you kind of talk about your velo, and I just got a quick question and kind of about travel ball. For you being a freshman in high school, topping out at 82 miles an hour, Dylan, you got to let me know where you played some travel ball at, because I know personally there is no way you were just topping out at 82, just walking into a high school like, yeah, I didn't play any summer ball. I'm just topping out at 82. So can you kind of talk about travel ball really quick and what that impacted on for you?
Freshman year, I played Nations Elite. It's like this local team around here. Loved it. I was on our A team and everything like that. Did well. Then my junior year, I think I played my sophomore year. I'm not even 100% sure. It's so long ago. But my junior year, I switched to the Canes Nationals. They're arguably one of the best organizations in the country. They called me up for Jupiter and said, hey, we need a pitcher. One of my best friends was on the team. It's like, hey, we need a pitcher. It's like, okay, I'm in. Hung up the phone, drove down to Jupiter. Through the first day, started the first night game, which the night game, if you know of Jupiter, is where they shut down 16 fields into 4 fields. And all the pro scouts migrate to all 4 of those fields. And it's absolutely crazy. I think there was over 800 scouts at this game, all in golf carts lining up down the line. It was the coolest moment ever. But I shit my pants. I did.
No, we can't relate, Dylan. None of us have ever done
that. Yeah. I think I walked the first 3 batters and beamed a batter. So
started out well.
Now that's a Mike Hughes pitching in. That's
bases loaded. I get in the bases loaded. Coach comes out. He's like, "You okay, man?" He's like, "Listen, just forget about them. Just pitch." Like, all right. Punch outs will pop up. Get off the field. No runs. Ended up going 4 that day, or 4 or 5 that day. I forgot. I think it was 5. Ended up going 5 that day of, I think, 1-run baseball. We ended up winning. And he asked me, I went home. He's thanked me. Nothing else. Didn't get a call after. Oh, okay. It was like, oh, I felt used. I was like, all right, cool. Appreciate it. But no, he calls me up Sunday night, and they're playing on Monday in the semifinal game versus the D-back scout team.
Mm-hmm.
And we're sitting there, and this is a senior tournament. We're all juniors. This is a junior team. We're just playing up. So he calls me back. He's like, hey, I need a guy to pitch tomorrow. Can you be here? Yeah, I'll be here. So I got in the car that night. Me and my mom drove that night. Got there and everything. And through 7.1 innings, I would say, versus them of, I think, no runs or 1 run. I forget. It was like no runs or 1 run. We end up going into extras into the 9th. And because I pitched into the 7th, completed 7, and then threw 1 out, and then they pulled me. And then someone else came in. We ended up winning, I think, 2-1. I think that was the score. Mm-hmm. We ended up winning 2-1 to go to the championship game. We ended up winning it, and I was MVP pitcher of it.
The amazing part of this story is he was used. He felt used, and then he still came.
Went right back. Some people there's a song about it. Some people like to be abused.
Yeah, I mean, Jupiter, I mean, it's one of those tournaments you don't want to miss. It's the best tournament in the country.
How far of a drive is that from where you live?
Oh, it's not bad. It's like 2.5 hours.
Okay.
So we were like, we're on. I'm in. So I actually skipped school that day, went down there, pitched for them, ended up winning MVP pitcher of it. And it was just one of those cool experiences. Cool thing is I get to add another one right next to it, because that one's kind of small, and then one I have now is just giant.
Hold up, Dylan. You said that you went and talked to a team about not skipping class, and all that. Now I just heard you say you skip, but if it's for a good reason.
No. I told you in high school I skipped class. I said that.
Dylan, I'm with you, brother. You know what? Time has gone on. If you guys can't get past it, I don't know what to say. He's an amazing young man, and we make mistakes, but we never have a bad time, Dylan. That's.
It wasn't a mistake that he got used in Jupiter. I don't think it was a mistake.
I don't think it was.
It was not a mistake. Definitely not a mistake.
You kind of talk about Jupiter kind of being this powerhouse of just all of these scouts from all these different places coming into one place and on these 4 fields under the lights at that, it's Friday night lights at its best. Is that really where you started to get on college's radars, or how did that really transpire? Was that in high school, or was that at Jupiter?
No, yeah, it was Jupiter really put me on the map, playing for Canes Nationals. I mean, I had interest here and there and stuff, but nothing really serious and stuff. So, but Jupiter, when I threw in Jupiter, I think I had like 40 missed phone calls the next day. Didn't know who they were. And so I just declined them.
Right.
I was like, oh, I don't want no telemarketer. Ended up being scouts. College coaches and stuff, because my It's like, hey, these guys are trying to get a hold of you. Answer your phone. I'm like, oh, okay. Calling them back. Hello, who's this? And good first impression, by the way, by me. Sweet.
They
But
couldn't send a text,
I'm
bro.
sure.
I know.
I'm sure that happened to me as well. I'm sure that's why I didn't get picked up, as I must have missed the call, Randy. I must have missed the call.
Yeah, you must have. You must have.
But Dylan, to recap it all, for you, Charleston, gets on the phone with you at some point. I don't know if that's the same kind of phone call that you had to call them back. But can you kind of talk about why you picked there and how those conversations kind of started?
Yeah, they wanted me to take a visit, go up there. And I was like, I really wasn't about it. I just didn't want to take a visit and everything. It was during about to be baseball season and everything like that. Didn't want to really take a visit. My high school coach, he said, listen, they have a big offer for you. Go. Okay. So me and my dad drove up there, I would say. And, we were sitting on the couch, got to see everything, got to see the school, loved the school. The school was amazing. And they sat me down. My biggest thing was I don't want my parents to pay for my college.
Right.
That was my biggest thing. They came back with the offer, I think of like 85%. And I was like, I don't want my parents to pay. He's like, what do we have to do to get you committed? I sat there for 30 minutes in the chair, feeling awkward because I didn't take the offer. And they looked at me and they said, what do we have to do to get you? I was like, I don't want my parents paying. That's the thing. And they said, okay, deal. We'll give you a full ride. So that was my biggest thing, was I didn't want my parents paying for school. So when they offered it, I was like, yeah. Didn't really do any research into it. Probably should have. But I took the scholarship because I just didn't want my parents to pay. I wanted my parents, just to keep their money for them.
Right.
Man, another lesson taught by Dylan to kids everywhere, because a lot of parents don't want to have to pay for their kids' school either. So be like Dylan. Make sure you get it paid for. No,
just be a D1 stud pitcher. That's all you got to do, kids.
Be like Dylan, skip class and finesse the system. I'm hearing it here first on and off the bench.
Don't skip anymore. Don't skip anymore. I would say don't skip class.
All right. Well, if you were skipping yesterday, tomorrow's a new leaf. That's
there
what
you go. There you go.
but as we know, you left College of Charleston to go to Northwest Florida. What happened? How did you end up from College of Charleston to Northwest Florida?
See, me and the coaches didn't get along with the pitching aspect. Me and the pitching coach didn't really get along in that aspect. And, I had some flaws I needed to fix. I was immature. So me in a town like that, where you could party every single night and go out and drink, is not a good atmosphere for a 18-year-old kid that has an ID that get him in. So that was the thing. But I would say I was just, mostly why I transferred was I was immature. I needed to mature more. So I thought me leaving that place and going somewhere where there wasn't a lot of stuff, where I could just focus on baseball and focus on my schoolwork and not do stupid stuff anymore, so I can mature. I was tired of being that immature kid like I was in high school. I needed to grow up, and coaches thought I needed to grow up. So I went to Northwest Florida, and Coach Martin there, they have such a good program, good coaching staff, that they promised my dad one thing. My dad said, listen, he'll go there if you hold him accountable for his actions. And I'll tell you, he held me accountable. He held me accountable. I think the first day of class, did not realize when I looked at my sheet, it says Martin on it. Did not realize he was my teacher. Showed up late to his class.
Oh,
yeah. That was my first impression on him.
But your parallels, I've already mentioned his name once. Hayden Leatherwood did the same thing when he went to Vanderbilt and messed around. And then luckily, with 5 days left, as he told the story on here, he was able to get into Northwest Mississippi. So you went to Northwest Florida, he went to Northwest Mississippi. Y'all both learned a valuable lesson, as you've talked about.
Yeah.
But even though you left College of Charleston, you went to Northwest Florida State. What were the emotions? Were you still really excited and pumped up when you initially got there?
I was. I was thinking on the way. I'm going to the bottom of the list. Everybody despises JUCO the way I thought. Yeah, but I got something to tell you, man. JUCO's fun, and JUCO's legit.
No, you mentioned it because you talked about the way it is down there, and we're familiar with it here in Miss. Well, me and Randy are with Mississippi, and you know that you have a lot of teammates, or you have a lot of guys you're playing against in the SEC that are coming from that Mississippi JUCO. So yeah, no, it's no joke. Studs are being springboarded from there.
You asked me 5 years ago, I'll tell you JUCO's a joke, which it probably was. I mean, it wasn't that good. No one really knew about it. Oh, every guy that went JUCO was like, damn, I should play D1 or something like that. Damn, I got to go JUCO. Now kids are going JUCO that are 95, 98 just so they can get popped the next year. Mm-hmm. And JUCO's becoming so much bigger and bigger and bigger because it's like the NBA draft. You could go for 1 year and be done. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things.
Well, and another one of the things is because you were talking about the financial aspect. A lot of guys, because of the lack of scholarship money, have to start off at JUCO. You can go ahead if you can beef up your stats, get your 2 years of prerequisites done. It's easier then to, when you go up to a Division I school to get that paid for because you have a lot less to worry about. And then you also have a resume like I'm fixing to read off for you. You kind of talked about it, but as a freshman. You posted a 6-0 record with one save. You threw 40 innings, registering a 0.67 ERA, which you have talked about how you stayed sub 1 with 44 strikeouts. So I don't think I need to tell you how phenomenal a stat line. Obviously you had to feel good about that. Like when you have an expectation level, would you say coming out of that you felt like you met your expectations in that freshman season?
Yeah, I did. I felt really good about everything going on. I was ready for, college coaches to be calling me because of that season I had. And I thought I did well enough. And I told coach, I was like, I want to go to SEC. I don't care what SEC school. Just want to go to an SEC. And, all the SEC schools kind of passed up on me. And I was like, okay. I was like, I just got to work harder. I just got to be better. I just got to make them want me, and just held off throughout the year. And until LAF called me, and LAF was the first SEC school to call me. Then after that, 2 more called, trying to offer me. And I was like, okay, now I have a decision. And then I was like, LAF called me 2 weeks ago. Now all these other SEC schools want to hop on. I was like, LAF gave me the chance. And I called him one night at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Not like it. I said, I'm coming to Ole Miss. I said, I'm ready. He's like, all right, good. I'll get the paperwork started.
I mean, that's not the worst call to get at 1 in the morning to have.
No, 100% not. But I took the chance because of the atmosphere. I mean, 12,000 fans you're playing in front of, can't beat. There's 3 programs that sell out tickets, and that's us, Mississippi State, and Arkansas. I mean, who else? Who else sells out of tickets in the SEC? Or any other.
I ain't gonna lie to you, as an LSU fan, we try
LSU.
Well, I was actually gonna say we try to claim we do. I was down there when we played y'all, and they claimed that it was full, and you were playing it, and it wasn't full, but they tried to claim it.
But LSU,
it wasn't full the way you beat us down. By the way,
LSU still gets a lot of fans.
Yeah.
So I would say LSU. There's 4 programs that can make fans in there. So. I wanted to go play versus the best. I wanted to go see all the fans. I wanted all these fans rooting for me. It was really cool to see it. And then, my first time out of the pen, I think that first week, man, I had an adrenaline rush because I haven't hit 95 in my life. I've hit 94, stuff like that. I've never hit the 95. And holy cow, I was sitting 94 to 95 coming out of that pen the first inning. At my first outing, I just had such an adrenaline rush. And I think I gave up a run that game in 1 inning and I was done. So I was like, oh, great.
Well, I'm going to let Randy get into all things Ole Miss for you, with you. I just got one more question because, we started off this whole thing talking about being Burford's roommate. How cool was it, when y'all found out that y'all were going to Oxford to play for Ole Miss together?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, when I met Burford, me and him had such actually, we did not have the first good impression. I'm not going to lie. First impression, he comes in the dugout. He's like, yo, what's up? My name's Reagan. And I was like, I don't care. I said to him, I don't care. I was like, go do your job. And that, so he was just like, who the hell is this dickhead? And he's like, and so me and him didn't make a first impression, but he said, as soon as I saw this man start for the first time, he said, I dropped everything. He's like, I became a Dylan Delucia fan. Me and him just got close throughout the year. Like, going into JUCO and it's your first semester and you're already starting baseball, it's hard to make friends right there right away. But we stuck with him, and we love him to death in JUCO. We love him at Ole Miss, so we brought him in our family in JUCO, and he played with us. We did everything together, like, because in JUCO you live with each other, so you're only hanging out with the baseball team. So everybody did everything together. We brought him in our circle, and he ended up being just a great dude. And then when I came to when I got the offer from Ole Miss, he was the one telling me all about it, what there is, how fun it is, the baseball and everything. He's the one that actually persuaded me kind of to go to Ole Miss. I'm not going to lie. He gave me everything I needed to know. And when they asked for him to come back, it was a cool thing because we immediately started looking for apartments together. We were like, hey, we're living with each other. I don't like living with multiple people, like 3, 4 people. That's not me.
Just one.
I like my space.
No doubt.
When we brought it back,
Mississippi State, because those dudes be rolling 4 or 5 deep living together.
Yeah, no, we do it here, but I'm good with just Burford. I'm good with Reagan.
So listen, it sounds like, Dylan, you've mentioned a few things. Your first game under the lights, first impression with Reagan. I mean, first impressions aren't really your thing here. It's kind of what I'm hearing. You got to grow on people.
Yeah, I know. I got to grow. But once I grow on you, everybody apparently loves me.
Absolutely, man.
That's what everybody says. I don't know if it's true or not. They're lying to me.
No, it's all good. So I got to ask you, you go from obviously living in Florida your whole life, you played there in Florida, and then you go to Oxford, Mississippi. What was that transition like? And was it like a culture shock to you to go from Florida to Oxford?
I said, where am I? I said, dude, I'm in the
1952.
Yeah, I said, dude, I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm driving down because we went to New Orleans first. And I'm driving down the road. I'm like, dude, all I see is woods and trees and farmland. I'm like, I'm not in Texas. I'm in Mississippi. Like, oh my gosh. And I'm sitting there. I'm just like figuring out. I'm like, okay, just wait until you get to the college. Wait until you get to college. Get to the college. I'm like, damn, there ain't nothing here too. Sure was I wrong though, because Oxford is the coolest town I've ever lived in and ever been in. I mean, that place is something special, and that thing will always hold a special piece in my heart because I absolutely love it there. No,
absolutely. So you mentioned this already coming out of the pen. It wasn't your first choice, but you start the season out of the bullpen. And anybody that follows Ole Miss baseball, that how Coach B, you mentioned his philosophy, enjoy the ride. He got a lot of arms. He had to figure out who the starters were because day one starters, that doesn't really mean anything. That might not be the end of season starters, as we saw with you guys. But do you think, even though it wasn't your choice, do you think it helped you to start out in the bullpen this year, or would you still like, no, I want the ball day one?
I still wanted the ball day one, no matter what. If I could change it, I would do it because I wanted that ball. But, God has his plan. I'm happy that I was in the pen, though. I got to be with the team. I got to fight for my position at the end of the day. I think anybody could say I earned that spot now.
So, you absolutely did. So there was a rumor, and I'm going to ask you, this isn't controversial, I hope, but there was a rumor that you went to coach the coaching staff and basically pledge your case to be a starter. Is that true?
Yes and no. I mean, I kind of just hinted to him in practice one day. It's like, Coach, if I start, you ain't going to take me out of it. And I kind of just said that to Coach B and just looked at me and just walked away. I was like, cool. That was when we were the number one team in the country, so I wouldn't have changed anything either.
Hey, Randy, what we know, Kobe says you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right?
That's 100%, right.
100%.
All right, Dylan. So we mentioned it in the show. I am a Tennessee fan, and you threw a shot at me, but I want to read this quote. I know you know it.
No, don't say it. Don't say the tweet.
We won't say the tweet. We won't. But I got to ask you though. The next game, I see the camera pan over to you and they're going to interview you again. You said, oh, no, I can't do that. You don't got to tell us exactly what was said, but did Coach B like, nah, bro, not that?
No, I definitely did get a text from Laugh, not from Coach B. Laugh was like, what the heck did you just do, Dylan? And I was like, I don't even know. That was my first time doing media. And I screwed it up bad.
You said what you felt, man.
Yeah, I did.
But Randy,
honestly, I'm not going to take back anything I said. That's not me. I'm never going to take back anything because if I said it in that moment, I meant it in that moment. I thought we did. We didn't play our best ball. I'm not going to say we didn't take them lightly. I wish I could take back that part, because I knew everybody played as hard as they could that game.
I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say me and Randy didn't have a little fun at your expense, because I was at the game and I was messaging him and we were talking about maybe he shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. No, maybe I shouldn't have, but, that's in the past. And, I'm just going to leave it in the past.
Listen, Conor McGregor said, I apologize to absolutely fucking nobody. You don't apologize for that kind of stuff. I'm a Tennessee fan and I respected it. Obviously, it's going to draw some attention from Tennessee fans and other fans, but like I'm a huge Tennessee fan and I didn't take any disrespect to it. You're a competitor. You said what you felt. I respect it. And then from that point on, I mean, you solidified yourself as the Friday night starter, had some pretty dominant performances from there. So to me, it wasn't like you needed that wake-up call, but you got the opportunity. You said what you said, and from then on, you played like you talked. So you didn't just say it, you backed it up, Dylan. So talk to me, was that a turning point for you in the season? You talked earlier about you had to mature a little bit. Maybe it's something you wouldn't say again, but I mean, was that a turning point for you?
In media, yes, 100%. That was a turning point. But for everything else, I was still the same pitcher. I've been the same pitcher since I was. I've just when I became a starter, I've only ever started. So when I was in the pen, I was trying to overthrow. I was trying not to be me. Instead of, like I said, throwing those 3 pitches for strikes. Me as a starter, I'm able to cool down and pitch my game, not pitch anybody else's. I don't have to come in for anybody. So when he said I'm a starter, I said, I'm not giving this job back. I said, I want to let you know that I'm not giving it back. No one's going to take this job from me. And I'm glad I held my word on it, because I really did feel that, because when I'm a starter, I go out there for the first time, I solidify right as that first pitch in that first inning. After that first inning, if I get out, my first inning is always my rough inning, because I'm trying to figure out what's working for me, how are they taking, stuff like that. I'm trying to figure out everything. But if I get out of that first inning, give it up 0 runs, oh, you're done.
It's on.
Randy, his mentality should make sense. Do you know what his walk-up song is?
What is it?
It's Till I Collapse by Eminem.
Oh, of course. That's
not anymore. Not anymore.
You twist it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's got to come hard then. If you're going to come off Till I Collapse, it better come hard.
We changed it as my first start at home was Mississippi State. We changed it that outing to Big Papa.
Okay.
And you pitched like Big Papa. I'm glad you took me into that. You had a complete game against Mississippi State. And I got to ask you, as a guy from Florida, how long did it take you to really understand and respect the rivalry with Mississippi State?
I didn't know it until after that game. When I went on Twitter and I had people Twitter, Mississippi State fans, you still ain't nothing. You just got lucky. Stuff like that. That's when I found out this was a rivalry.
You're like lucky for all 9 innings.
Randy, they're lying, because I was with the Mississippi State fans at that game, and they were literally like, we got to get this guy off the bump, like, because that's our only chance of winning. So they're full of crap, because they knew what he was doing.
Was that your favorite game though, Dylan, of the season? Well, besides the World Series,
Randy.
Take out the world. No, it's still not.
What was it?
Still not. I think Arkansas. That was my favorite game, because now my favorite home game for sure. Yes, Mississippi State. Arkansas, I think, is the game that I'll always remember, because I mean that was a packed house of completely sold out Arkansas fans. It was my first packed out house of a full sold out crowd, and Arkansas was really good, and it was just really cool to pitch in that environment, because everybody was after you. Like at home, everybody was cheering me on at Mississippi State. That's definitely, Mississippi State was definitely a high. I loved every single moment of it. I mean, it was outstanding. I loved it. But that Arkansas, having those fans just go against you is just something I love. And I love that. I love to make everything quiet in that stadium. That no one chanting for anybody because the other team is winning and the other pitcher's shoving up their butt.
You like to snatch some souls.
Yes, snatch some souls for sure. Also to end the swoop pig too. I think I only heard it once that game.
Oh,
start of the game.
The only thing I dislike more than that is the Vandy Whistler.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, that guy was a lot during the tournament.
No doubt. So Dylan, the captain, he said, don't let the Rebs get hot. You guys on social media, whoever does their social media does a great job. Came out as a clip, and you guys did get hot, but there's still some questioning going into the selection show. Is Ole Miss going to get in? You end up getting your name called, and now you know that you're going to get a chance. How confident are you guys now that you know you're in? Did you guys think now's the time to make a run?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the way I looked at it as, and I kind of told a couple people on the team, the way I looked at it as, everybody's 0-0 now. It doesn't matter if you're Tennessee and you had the dream team and you went all the way of 57 or whatever it was and something, doesn't matter about that. Everybody's 0-0. Anybody can beat anybody. So why not we just treat it like a new season? We were supposed to be this dream team because we had every hitter returning. We had pitchers that were supposed to be legit. And then we just didn't have anything click for us throughout the year. It's either our hitting was good or our pitching was bad. Our pitching was good, our hitting was bad. So we didn't have both click. And we were like, why not just try to make it click this time? And I was thinking, guys, stop playing like we're the dream team and we have to be the dream team, and just let's start having fun again. Let's start having fun with baseball. Show up to the field happy and we're ready to play and just have a good time. And you see the dugout energy start to change when we went to Miami, because everybody kind of forgot about we had to be the dream team. We're supposed to be number one in the country, all this stuff. So when we went down there, I mean, everything kind of changed. And then you saw us win that first game. I was kind of thinking, I told everybody, I was like, guys, if we go 0-2 and we played fun ball and we were just us again, so be it, whatever. But let's stop being someone we're not, and let's just have fun.
And absolutely. Fun you had, my friend.
Oh, we had a lot of fun. I mean, going 5-0 before the College World Series, that's fun. That is fun.
So I got to ask you, you mentioned that you like playing on the road. Obviously, you guys take care of business in Coral Gables and Hattiesburg. Did you kind of like the fact that you guys weren't hosting and you get on the road and play in these hostile environments?
I told everybody I do not like throwing at Swayze. Love the fan base. Love the fan base. I don't like the mound. I don't know why. There's something with the mound I don't like. Can't figure it out still. But every time it seems like I throw at Swayze, besides the Mississippi State outing, I get shelled or I give up hits and stuff like that. But I think it was just a little tweaks I had to make, and my ball was getting flat and stuff. And because I was trying to overthrow in front of all of our fans, trying to just be something I wasn't. But when we went on the road, it seemed like we were always a road team this year. Seemed like, our road series, we were good.
Yeah, I saw that in Baton Rouge. Like I told you, I went down there, and I mean, y'all absolutely waxed my Tigers, dude.
100%. That was our turning point. That Mizzou series when Chris Coughlin came to talk to us, kind of turned our ears a little. Started letting us play our best baseball.
So let me ask you, because you've been such a straight shooter and you've talked about what it was like playing in Arkansas and everything. I was in Hattiesburg the weekend before at the regionals because LSU was there. Okay. I wasn't very impressed with the Southern Miss crowd, and it feels like it's some kind of hot extra there. Like, am I wrong on either of those?
Oh my, it was 10 times hotter there than anything else.
I'm telling you.
I was dying. I mean, our coach I forgot. I came back in the fifth inning, and my coach just looked at me and he said, "Dude, this kid looks shot." I mean, my whole jersey was completely soaked. I was thinking about going to the bathroom to try to wring it out a little, but I mean, it was so much sweat and so much humidity. It was crazy. I was like, "Dude, I'm not even in Florida, man. I'm in Mississippi." But those fans, something else too. They were sitting down in the bullpen. I was warming up before the game, and I would tell everybody this because I think it's really funny. They look right at Coach Laugh, and they're like, and I just immediately start laughing. They were explaining to me, they were like, "Damn, Dylan, you're fat as hell." I was like, "Dude, come on now, chill out." And I just started cracking up on the mound. I literally had to step off in the bullpen, just give me a second, and then I got back to work. I was like, dude, these fans are cracking me up, and they're trying to go at me right now.
That's what it's all about. But you
You
listen,
dropped 10-0 on them.
yeah, I was gonna say that didn't last very long. But you get to Omaha, obviously take care of business. Do you soak it all in at the moment? Are you so focused on the first game, or do you take a moment to really realize where you're at and what you're doing?
We got there like 3 days before, so I think we kind of soaked it in those first 2 days after the parade and everything. That parade definitely, we soaked it all in. We soaked in every moment. And after that day, we had practice the next day because we had the off day. We didn't have the off day. We just had the game the second day. And we were all sitting there and we took it all in and we were like, all right, guys, it's game time. It's ready to go. It's time to grind. It's time to get better. It's time to win this stuff. Like we've all said, we got to Omaha. Now we have to win a national championship.
Yeah. So I got a question for you. Obviously, you played travel ball. My kid plays travel ball, and it always seems like you travel 8 hours from home, and then you end up playing teams that you've already played a bunch of times. So you guys get to Omaha, end up playing Arkansas and Auburn. You end up pitching dominant performances, but for that travel ball, was it similar to that? You're like, man, we've already played these teams. Do you like that you're familiar with those teams?
See, the good part is versus Auburn, you didn't know what I didn't start versus them.
True.
3 innings in relief, but I didn't get to start versus them. So it was kind of nice having that. It was like I was playing a new team and versus Auburn, but we had all the information we needed on them. I mean, we played them 3 times. Yes, it was at the beginning of the season, but swings don't change much during the season. They don't.
Well, they shouldn't.
Yeah. So just seeing that, we had all the notes we needed, and we there was one game we gave up a lot of runs. I think we gave up 19 in that Saturday game. So
quite a bit.
It was quite a bit. So we had all the information on what these guys don't like, what these guys like throughout the year. So we were just watching film on them, and everybody just said, "Don't let Sonny beat you. Don't let Sonny beat you." And
That's a big boy.
Coach kept on saying to me, he was like, "Hey," he was like, "If we have to intention walk him, we're going to intention walk him." I told him, me being me, how competitive I am. I said, "Coach, we're not intentionally walking anybody. We're going after everybody." I was like, "We're not going to play scared." I was like, "Let's go at him." And I kind of brought up to him. I was like, "Coach, last time I pitched versus him, I shook him out. Come on now." I was like, "I got him again." And so I just went at him. He called a couple way balls like to get off the plate, and I was like, I'm gonna throw this right on the outside corner. I'm not walking this dude. But that kid's such a good player, and he deserves all the respect he should be intentionally walked. He really should. That kid is so good, and I just wish the best for him because he was absolutely a baller this year.
Yeah,
but,
he was really good.
Playing Arkansas, I got the start versus him, so already in the year, and I was just excited for it. But I was like, okay, we're gonna win these next 2. I'm gonna start versus whoever in the championship. That was my game plan. And
but Arkansas had put up 17 runs the game before you guys, right? So I mean, they're hot, right?
Yeah. Didn't work out that way. Then Elliott started. Elliott's just a dog. That kid has something. A freshman. He presents himself like a senior on the mound. He looks like he's been in that show for about 40 years now. That kid
and Jim talked about it. He was doing that his senior year of high school.
Yeah. Dylan, when I'm right, I'll make sure everybody knows about it. And before the season started, I predicted him to be in the weekend rotation, and a lot of folks didn't even
predict me.
No, I didn't.
No, he didn't.
Matter of fact, if you look at my Ole Miss write-up, the good news is I put y'all in Omaha, and I got laughed at, so I defended y'all. The bad news is you're not in my write-up, my guy. I'm sorry.
You have to change.
Hey, that just shows you. Hey, man, you came under the radar and showed everybody what you had when they didn't, put the respect on your name.
We like being on the bottom of the list. It makes that much better of a story.
You were in my write-up, Dylan. I just want you to know. There's no confirmed write-up, but just take my word for it. You were there.
Somewhere in your heart.
So look, I got 2 last questions that I'm gonna send you over to Mike so y'all can talk about his write-up. But when you're obviously Arkansas being hot, you go against him, you held him to 1. What was working for you specifically that day?
Oh, I mean, everything kind of. I didn't have my command earlier in the game. I was kind of battling through that. My arm still my legs felt like jello actually out of the. My arm felt really good. My legs just kind of felt tired, and when I was in the windup, my legs felt like Jello striding. When I was in the stretch, my legs had all the power in the world. It was so weird how everything was connecting. But we didn't have to be in the stretch that much, so we learned out of the windup. But you know, I just went after him, literally like I do every single team. Just try to get that first pitch strike. And the biggest key to that game and to every game that I've done well in is getting the first out of the inning. You could get out of so many jams if you just get that first out of the inning, because you could get that first out of the inning, give up a hit, give up another hit. All you need is a punch out to get it, and the ground out or whatever happens after that to get off the field. It doesn't matter. But you let that first person on, it's harder to get out of those innings because you don't know what's going to happen. You have to get 3 outs to get off the field before that guy scores.
Well, and another thing you don't do is you don't walk guys, which is a mistake that a lot of guys do. And, you know, that walk always comes back to bite you, especially like you're saying on a leadoff walk or anything like that.
Speaking of no walk, second game against Auburn, complete game, 4 hit, no walk, no runs. I got to ask you, last question. Was there any chance you were coming out of that game, Dylan?
Not a chance. Coach B came out and I was like, gosh, I was like, no way. Like, no way. And then I looked down at the pin and I'm like, oh, no one's warming up. Sweet. Let's go. And
you know, just wants to ask you how you're doing.
Yeah. No, he comes out there every time. Every time he comes to check on me, it's the first checkup is always he comes out just to check on my emotions, see how I'm feeling. Because he says it in the meetings all the time. And media, I mean. And he says, you know, he's an emotional pitcher. He is. Because he wants to do so well. Sometimes he could just get over himself and try to overthrow sometimes. So I go out there and just to check on his emotions, see how he's doing. And, you know, that's all I really did. You know, I told him, I was like, how you doing out here? How's your emotions? And then that was it. And then I walked back to the dugout. And then the next very pitch, I get a rollover to get out of the inning. So that was really cool. You know, he knows kind of the perfect timing to come out. He does.
100%. And Dylan, for you, you know, there's a lot to unpack in this year. But most notably, other than winning a championship, is winning most outstanding player of the College World Series. For you, can you kind of unpack what that means for you after experiencing everything you've gone through, JUCO all the way on?
Oh, it's truly a blessing. It is. For me to get selected, I don't even know how many College World Series there's been, but you know, to be one of the ones of how many there's been so far is truly a blessing, because I'm right there with, you know, great athletes, great pro players. Because you look back at it, I guarantee there's a lot of big leaguers on there. And, you know, it's truly something special. And I feel blessed for it every single day. You know, I feel blessed for it to go to Ole Miss and get the chance to play, to be a part of this team, to be a part of this coaching staff, be a part of the school, be a part of Oxford, you know, all the fans and stuff. I just feel truly blessed. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it was such a cool accomplishment that I texted our coach today. I was like, when am I getting this trophy, man? I was like, they said they were shipping it to me. It's been what, almost 2 weeks almost? I still haven't got this trophy back. I want this thing back. Like, I don't want someone else to have it. I want to sit on their shelf. I want it on my shelf in my room.
Definitely. And for your favorite play of the season, you obviously talk about all the great teammates you've had over the years, but this season in specifics, other than a play that involved yourself, or obviously the final out, what would you say your favorite moment of this season was, or any particular play?
My favorite play when I was pitching was the double play ball versus Arkansas. I had a rough first inning. And you know, I gave up no runs, but I gave up like back-to-back hits and stuff like that. And Peyton ball gets right up the middle. You can see it on video. It's on video. Goes right up the middle. I was like, I just missed it. I was like, oh. Peyton just comes out of nowhere, flips the gonzo, turns a double play. We get out of the inning. It was crazy. And that kind of was my favorite play because, you know, after that, you know, they started making those unbelievable plays behind me. Kevin made a sick ton of diving plays this year for me. I mean, Bench is just all around, just I think the greatest utility guy I've ever seen in my life. He can literally do it all. If you put him back there at catcher, won't be Dunhurst, but I think he'll be just fine back there.
I've never seen somebody more nonchalant, just smooth as butter, get a ground ball on third and just like it looks effortless for that guy.
Yeah.
Look, true story for you, Dylan. The one box of baseballs behind me is all Ole Miss, right? And every one of those has been a guest on the show except for Justin Bench. He happened to we were sitting there and he signed my son's ball, and I put that in there just because he's Justin Bench. So he hadn't even been a guest on the show, but he made the box.
You think he could be a catcher? That's ironic. I wonder if anybody in his family's ever been a catcher.
No, but yeah, these guys, everybody has made. There's not just one favorite play. I would say, you know, all the plays that this team has gotten for me to help me out, to get me off the field, are special plays in my book.
100%. And for you, you know, obviously speaking with a intelligent individual such as yourself, you know, parades, parties, it's been a part of the lifestyle for a very long time. Take me through the Oxford parade and really what that was for you. For someone like me who never made it, I wasn't personally there. I didn't get a chance to meet Jim Cross in Omaha. But what was that like for you, kind of just to be a part of that parade?
Oh, it was definitely like a dream come true. Like, it was seeing all these fans sitting there waiting for us, getting to put on that jersey again. Like, it gave me the jitters, you know, it gave me the goosebumps, and I was so excited for it because we brought it back to Oxford. You know, everybody in Oxford has been waiting for this trophy for so long, between every man sport.
Literally forever. Literally forever. It's the first time. And, you know, just to see their faces, and like Tim has said in media, this will become the greatest team to ever be in Ole Miss baseball history. That we all will be legends, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. Like, this team was something special, a special group of guys, and to be celebrating it with them in the parade, the ceremony, getting to go out with them, you know, it was personally like a dream come true because everybody deserved it no matter what. If you were red-shirted, if you were a fan, that trophy was literally for everybody, and it was for the University of Mississippi. It was for Oxford. That trophy was just so that everybody knows that we are Ole Miss.
And you know what's interesting about it, Dylan? You know, you talked about playing loose and just having fun, but not with the expectations. But the expectations were there, and I bring that up because you know a lot of people who weren't familiar with Ole Miss from around the country were kind of calling y'all a Cinderella, and I was like, no, this is the team that they were supposed to be. This is what happens when everything starts clicking. This isn't a Cinderella of a bunch of guys who are just, you know, mediocre and they put it all together at the right time. This is a solid stud-filled team that got hot, as the captain said, and y'all put it all together. So for me, this is what was supposed to be accomplished, but for whatever reason, you know, like we talked about, it just took till a certain point in the season to where it all clicked.
Yeah, 100%. You know, we had those rough patches, we did, but like I said earlier, the ride's never smooth. There's always those ups and downs. There's always those bumps in the road. You have to enjoy those bumps at the same time.
100%. You know, obviously, Ole Miss will never forget it, whether it be the franchise and the organization itself, the college itself, or just the fans who will never forget it, the people in the town who will never forget it. But for you, Dylan, a week later, what is the vibe like right now? Because all I'm hearing is humbleness. I want to get a little bit of Dylan out of here. I want to hear some noise. How are you feeling? Can you still feel every moment you were feeling a week ago?
Oh, I still think about the crowd in Omaha, man. I still think about the parade. I still think about the one thing I think about the most, though, is coming back to Oxford after the parade. We're doing the ceremony. Tim gets announced he got his statue. So that's the coolest thing. But, you know, seeing my name called walking out of the dugout because they announced our names before we walked out, and just seeing everybody scream, you know, what they were doing in Omaha, loose, you know, it made me feel special. Like it truly was something so special that like I have no words to describe it. Like how this fan base is. I mean, it was definitely a blessing, and definitely one of the best moments definitely of my college career, just seeing the fans do that, because you know you may never get that chance again, and
Right.
those are the moments you want to cherish, not because, oh yeah, the complete game and stuff, you want to cherish the moments like that. You're walking out to the national championship team and you're with all your boys, you're with all your teammates, you're with all your coaches, with all the administration that helped you get there. It's definitely a true thing. It's a true blessing to be a part of it. But getting back to your question though, about me a week later, man, I'm just enjoying it. I am. After that parade, I think you could tell by me bartending on Twitter, I was enjoying it. But I'm just happy that we got to bring it back to Oxford. I really am, and I'm happy that I get to get back to work now, get to still keep on lifting, still keep on throwing, and get ready.
100%. And you kind of mentioned what it's like of just having this idea once it's all over. What am I going to do? What's next for you, Dylan? Are you potentially looking at the draft? Are you looking at free agency? Or Dylan, are we running it back? I think, is it safe to say we're running it back?
I've told everybody, I'm excited to be going through this process. If my name is called, it's another dream come true for me. But I told everybody, but I still have a family in Oxford that I would love to go back to. So whatever happens. But I don't have any answer for you right now, but I just know that I have a family in Oxford, and I know that if I do take it, I feel like everybody would understand and be happy for me. But I'm just excited to be going through the process at the same time.
Well, Dylan, when the Chicago Cubs eventually call your name, just know I was the one who called it, and we will get a drink as soon as possible. You won't have to bartend here. Everything's going to be beautiful. It's going to be a great time. And Jim and Randy are just going to unfollow you for some random reason, and then you'll never know why.
Not true. Liam Spence was drafted by the Cubs, and that's our guy. So.
Yeah, see, perfect. We're all cool here now. We're all good.
Oh, yeah. I forgive you for what you said about my team.
Yeah.
Honestly, Dylan, and I didn't really touch on that, Jim, right before you go, you didn't lie. And that was my thing. Just before we just move on from it, you didn't, everything you said, there wasn't a lie. And I have a problem when someone misevaluates someone else or it's something disrespectful was said, but everything you said in that moment was your truth. So I never even personally took offense to it. I could see, where some people get salty about it, but I would double down if I were you, Dylan.
I didn't take offense to it either. I just took it as, that's me. I'm competitive. I'm going to be me. I'm going to say what I want. Yeah, she shouldn't have said it, but I'm not going to take it back now. I'm not going to go on Twitter and apologize for it.
Exactly.
Listen, as much as those guys, and I love that team, I love those guys. They've all been on here. As much as they barked throughout the season, if somebody barks back, that is part of the game.
You got to eat that.
Yeah.
You eat
and,
that.
You see, I don't think, there probably been a handful of Ole Miss fans came that back at me like, oh, why would he say that? Stuff like that, but all I hear was just Tennessee fans going on. And, you don't worry about the media.
Right.
You don't let that interfere with your baseball, and you just go out there and just be you at the end of the day.
Randy, you know what my favorite part of that series was? And we're going to tell Dylan this here right now. A lot of people know that are on his team. So, we had, I don't know, like 12 Ole Miss guests this year, by far of the most of any team we had. But I was we had 9 Tennessee guests, and that got set up after, for the most part, that series. And the reason that did was, and Leatherwood spotted me. He knew what I was doing. I was sitting in the Tennessee section with the Tennessee families, and I was mingling, getting my way in, trying to set up some potential interviews. And so it was so funny because I run into Elko and Leatherwood outside, and they see that I'm wearing a Tennessee hat. And they're like, really, bro? And I was like, I'm networking. And Hayden goes, I feel you. I see what you're doing or whatever. So I ain't even lying to you. I was sitting up in the Tennessee section with those folks. But like I said, it ended up landing us, not only just players, we ended up having Tony V on here. So I have no shame in my game. Hey, man, if I got to network out, if I got to wear orange, maroon, red, I'm an LSU fan, but I wear everybody else's stuff, support the guests, everything. I was even in Omaha wearing an Ole Miss shirt. So, got to do what I got to do.
Man, I respect it. I'm not mad at you. You got to respect that at the end of the day. You're trying to hustle out here.
Exactly. So, some fan bases don't like it, but I root for every athlete that comes on here. So I'm a fan of yours. I was a fan of yours already. I'm a fan for sure now. But with that, man, we went through all the hard stuff. There is some hard questions in this game, but we're going to play a game get a little more fun side, even though, I don't know, you've been pretty fun most of this episode. But it's called This or That, man. And basically you pick one or the other. The only rule is you can't say neither and you can't say both. So you down to play?
Gosh.
All right. So here we go, man. I think this one actually isn't a softball question to start. If you can be
Okay.
only at one, would it be the Grove or the beach?
The beach.
Oh, no hesitation.
Wait. Did you say the Grove?
The Grove. Like in
Oh, the Grove. Oh, that's a tough one. I'm going the Grove for sure. Yeah, Grove. Actually thinking about it.
All right. Would you rather be funny or would you rather be smart?
Funny for sure. I'm not smart.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. All right. Better bombs, Elko or Alderman?
Elko for sure.
That's what I felt, but I don't know, man. Kemp,
Kemp
he smashes some.
Kemp smashes them, but Elko, what's better than an Elko home run at the end of the day?
No doubt. All right. What would you rather have, pizza or tacos?
Oof. Tacos.
Yeah, some thinking in that question. Sometimes people fire right off, but I feel you on that. I have to think when it comes to those two. All right, we're gonna bring Elko back into it. This is a fun one. Both guests of the show, more powerful, Hunter Elliott's hair flow or Tim Elko's mustache?
More powerful? I'm
Yes.
going Elliott's hair because you cannot touch it.
You cannot. He said we had him on before the season started, and we asked him, and he told us outright he would not cut his hair, would not touch it because that is where his power comes from. So that's why I asked. And then with Elko and the mustache, a lot of folks were saying, I need to maybe grow a mustache, get the Tim Elko rocking. I said, unless you're hitting bombs like Elko, you can't rock the stash. Like,
yeah,
It makes him look like he's 45.
Yeah. And
parade when he's wearing the aviators, he looks like a state trooper.
Oh my God, it's so funny. What's it called? It's called cops, I think, or state troopers. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, the super troopers.
Yeah, super troopers. There it is.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you look exactly like them right now.
Absolutely. All right. So if you can go to any concert there is or any sporting event there is, which one are you doing? Concert or sporting event?
Any concert? Oh, I'm definitely going concert. I want to go.
All right.
Sure.
Who is it? Who are we going to see?
I would definitely want to see Morgan Wallen and Drake for sure.
Together.
Together.
If I could do that together and have Morgan Wallen first and then Drake come on after, heck yeah, I would do it. I would definitely pick that over any sporting event.
There you go. All right, here we go. The 3 tough questions. These are the staple questions of the show. Would you rather save 100 strangers or just one person you love?
One person I love.
It's really an easy answer, but Jack took the route last night with 100 strangers. So somebody finally went off, but I think most of us would save that loved one.
Yeah.
All right. I actually think I know where you're going to answer on this one. Would you rather be the hero or would you rather be the villain?
The hero.
Oh, really? I you know what? I thought you might like that villainous role. Would that be the case? Who's your favorite superhero?
I don't really have a favorite superhero.
What?
I didn't watch Marvels until this year, until Burford introduced me to all of it.
And all right, you watched those with him. Who was your favorite out of those?
We watched Avengers and stuff.
So what? Like Hulk wasn't your dude? Like Thor? I mean, who? Give me somebody.
Bro, I would say trying to remember his name.
My man was not paying attention at all during the movies.
It was the guy with the big hammer.
Thor.
Yeah, that guy threw that thing. Yeah, I want that guy.
My God. All right, last one, and we'll find out a lot right here. Would you rather do 10 years in a coma or 5 years in prison?
Well, I'm picking 5 years in prison.
Oh, you think you can handle that prison life?
Hell no, but I'll figure it out.
Hey, Randy, you know what? He picked prison, but at least he didn't say he was going to handle it like some of these guys.
Yeah.
He said, I'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out how I get in. I'll figure it out how I get tight with the people. Don't worry. Everybody wants a funny guy.
Randy, I know Daniel's clear on the coma. I haven't really figured out where you're at, Randy. Are you a coma or a jail guy?
I'm jail, man.
Yeah, I'm going to jail.
You're
I'm
gonna go to
not,
jail. I'm like Dylan because I'll probably have some enemies because I'm like not that likable of a dude, but I'm gonna make some friends and I'm gonna make the
Yep.
right friends and it's gonna be straight.
that's me. I'm gonna be
If
that
I
funny
see
dude.
Dylan in there, we're gonna kick it tough.
Yeah, yeah. See, I'm gonna be that funny dude, and I'm gonna get with the right people. But there's gonna be people that hate me, and I'm gonna have the other people take care of the other people.
Exactly. And I don't even like sleeping like DB does. So I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't do a coma though. Like, nah. I would
Yeah.
rather
You wake
enjoy
up to be in
5.
your 30s, bro.
I would rather enjoy 5 years of being in prison and just bullying with the boys.
Busting with the boys.
Sure.
You probably learn a lot. And plus, you could get jacked in there, man.
Yeah, and maybe Tim Elko could come visit me.
Community service, getting it done.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, Dylan, you're off the hot seat. Is there anything you want to plug or promote before we let you go?
Mail his trophy.
Yeah, not my trophy. I want my trophy, NCAA. You know, that deserves to be on my wall right now. No, nothing, man.
Well,
I'm just happy.
we have guests that we know are going to say that, so we plug and promote for you. You know, if you want to follow Dylan and find out more about him, you know, follow his career and everything he's got going on, it's Dylan Delucia 22 on Instagram, or you can follow Ole Miss Baseball at Ole Miss BSB. But Dylan, man, it's been awesome. Thank you for coming on the show, telling us your story, and man, we look forward to seeing what you got going on in the future.
I appreciate it, guys. Hey, if you ever need anything, let me know. I'll do this again. Had a fun time.
Absolutely.